Welcome to Uncopyable Women in Business. I'm Kay Miller, also known as Muffler Mama. I've been the #1 outside salesperson in a male-dominated industry and a successful business owner for over 30 years. Now, I want to help you get your own uncopyable advantage. That's why I've created a free guide, a list of 25 uncopyable actions you can take starting today. Go to beuncopyable.com/action-steps. Now, please enjoy my conversation with today's uncopyable superstar. I am really looking forward to today's conversation with Debra Dudley. Debra is the co-founder and president of Oscarware Incorporated. Debra was an aspiring country music star climbing the charts when she traded dreams of the Grand Ole Opry for building a global grilling empire with her late husband, Reg. Today, Oscarware grill toppers are sold in all major retailers across the U.S. and 14 countries. Debra, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm just really happy to be here and tell my story.
Well, and a story it is. I have to thank Connie Lefferts, a mutual friend, a client of mine. And when I asked her who would be the very best guest that you know, you were at the top of the list. So I appreciate Connie and I appreciate you being on the show. So I'd like to start, as I said, just you have an interesting backstory because you were on your way, it sounds like successfully, to be a singing professional, singing star, whatever. So how did that change and how did this grill topper, take it back to the very beginning.
Okay, I'll do this without taking up too much time because it's a book made to be written. I always had music influence with my mom and my dad. And when I was 5 years old, my dad had a radio station, a program on a radio station, and he would stand me up in a chair. And I would sing because the microphones were way up high and I couldn't reach them. I never knew what it wasn't like to be performing somewhere. And, not just country music, bluegrass music, gospel music. My mom, she had me in piano lessons. My dad taught me how to play guitar and bass guitar. And it was just part of my life. And so that's what I wanted. I wanted to grow up and be that country music star and sing on the Grand Ole Opry. Of course, I went to school. I got a job, but I had a day job. But every night, by the time I was 20, I had a country music band. We practiced every night. We performed locally. And then one time, we were performing in a battle of the band in West Virginia. And doing so, there was a man in the audience. He saw me, I didn't see him. But he was visiting his best friend from the Marines. They were in the Marines together. And he could tell the story much better than I could. But he said, I saw you. I punched Don. Don was his friend's name. He says, I am going to marry that girl. And I knew his friend because he banked at the bank I was working at, and he worked at the radio station that we used to do a lot of things with, some of the line clubs and things like that. So his friend comes into the bank and says, I have a friend who really wants to meet you. Okay, the least thing I wanted at the time was to meet a man. Okay. And he kept pursuing, he really wants to meet you. I said, okay, next time he's in town visiting you, we'll have a cup of coffee. So that cup of coffee was the day I fell in love with this man and his blue eyes. And we got married 2 months later. And we were married 23 years when he passed away. And that was in 2006. But he was supportive of my music career. So that wasn't the end of it. He had a dream, and he was a pioneer in the satellite TV industry. So he was very electronic, very smart, such an engineer. He could see something and know how it worked or whatever. So together we started this business in the satellite TV antenna business and pursued my career in Nashville. So it was a lot of fun, but we failed at the satellite industry when the programming was a dinosaur, but it died just like a dinosaur. We were trying to find something else we could manufacture, and we tried patio furniture, truck toolboxes, lots of other different products. The first house when we got married that we rented did not have a kitchen stove, but we had an old gas grill. But we couldn't grill the types of food we wanted to grill because the food would fall through the grill grates. The satellite TV antenna dishes had expanded metal in them. So now this would have been in 1982. We didn't start Oscarware to 1989. In 1982, he took a square piece of expanded metal, put it on top of the grill. We were grilling everything from pizza, French fries, chicken nuggets, fresh fish, shrimp. Had we known in 1982 that we had a product that would totally reinvent outdoor grilling forever and change our lives, we probably would have missed the rest of what happened during those 7 years. So my career in music, being backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, trying to get on that stage, meeting a lot of country western stars, and one particularly, Oscar Sullivan, who was a member, which is kind of where we named the company from. I was backstage at the Opry passing out grill toppers to everybody. And I'm talking, a lot of them aren't even here anymore. Trying to get that going. And then also trying to get on stage. We went with what happened next. And what happened next was we went to our first trade show in Chicago, Illinois. And it was at McCormick, the big hardware show. And I'm standing in the booth. I'm grilling on a grill topper on a small electric grill. A gentleman comes into the booth. He says, "This product is really cool. Will you call me after the show?" It was Walmart.
And what year was that?
That would have been 1989.
Okay.
Now, that could have helped my career in music. It certainly helped get us going with our next business adventure, which was changing outdoor grilling. And we continued to do that for many years. If you could cook it indoors, we wanted you to have the product that would grill you, that you could put on a grill and be successfully and make it easy and delicious for you to cook whatever you wanted. But it kind of helped me get a little deeper into meeting the right people in Nashville. I had 2 CDs that I recorded in Nashville. I had a video on country music television, and I had 2 top 40 hits. But having a husband, having a business that was going well, and finding out what it was like with being a mom, having kids, having family, it was my decision to just say, I'm better off. That's the best job I can have, is being a mom and having the love of my life. And so I just kind of didn't want to go any farther, if that makes sense. Sometimes you think you want something, but if it had been a different journey where I had been single and, who knows what would have happened. But I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and I'm happy with the decisions I made and for being there and finding the one person in the world that I loved more than anything.
Hey there. I've got something for you that can change the way people see you and your business. It's my free guide, 25 Uncopyable Action Steps. These are real, practical steps you can use starting today to separate yourself from your competition. If you want your own uncopyable advantage, grab the guide at beuncopyable.com/action-steps. Now, back to the show. That is quite a story. I did take some notes. I told you that I've been to the Grand Ole Opry one time. I was at a meeting at that time and I wanted to go. Nobody would go with me. So I bought a ticket and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And there were no big stars that night, but I could not believe the talent and the magic of that place. So I can see why you wanted to go there. It must have been so fun to be part of that whole operation.
It was. And I mean, tears. I mean, you experienced so many emotions just with the performances, the music, and just
it was really magical.
Yeah.
I think there was a 22-year-old kid, I say kid, on the guitar that blew me away. There was a man in his 80s that sang a very emotional song about overcoming alcohol addiction, but just the talent. So I'm sure, like you said, it was hard to give that up, but you've got to make decisions in the grander scheme of your life. Yes, and traveling like that, you couldn't have a social life, a family life. It would be, I mean, I'm just really surprised people could do it. I'm very connected to friends, very social. So that would be difficult. You chose to be home, and then Reg, that cracks me up that he spotted you in the audience. I really don't know anyone else personally who that's happened to. I know it does happen, but the fact that he pursued you and won you over, very cool. Quite a love story that you had, which is always fun. And then the satellite dish thing. It's interesting because my husband, Steve Miller, who's part of the business with me, his dad was involved in the invention of the 8-track tape. And that was not long lived. You're my age. You remember those.
I've still got them. Yeah.
It was so cool at the time because before that, there's nothing. Record players. My dad had a record player in his car when he was a teenager. And I said, how could you play a record when you're driving? And he didn't say anything. And I said, oh, you're not driving. Okay, Dad. So anyway, the satellite dish network didn't last as long as you would have hoped, but something wonderful came out of that. And talk about industrious. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. And I tell this story over and over again. If we had just done that, if we would have just done that, it's just, it was meant to be. Maybe the market wasn't ready for that yet because grills weren't what they are today.
Right.
And I mean, it was mainly charcoal grill, and Weber had the big griddle, the big kettle grill. And people were grilling on 4th of July, Memorial Day. They weren't grilling the types of foods they're grilling today. And the grill today make it so much easier. We take credit for we don't deserve all of it, but we just feel like we reinvented what you're grilling and caused those other grills or products to come to market and make it more about being with family and friends at home and just enjoying each other. If you want to get the guitar out and sing a song or two, because that's what we did growing up. That was fun. We didn't just grill on a couple of days a year. Everybody came to Mom and Dad's house. Everybody wanted to be there. And we just all sat around and had a good time together.
It's fellowship. Well, if you listening are not familiar with Oscarware, it's oscarwareinc.com. And this is an unbelievable concept. And I guess also a reminder to the listener that we don't know what else is out there. All these years, people have been grilling. Well, these are porcelain, correct? And there are all different kinds of formations. You can fry an egg on the grill. You can make a pizza. Of course, all the traditional things. But as Debra said, things aren't falling through the grill. It's just easy cleanup, less mess. you can make anything. So be sure to check them out because they're available at Walmart. So you'll be able to find this Oscarware. And if you do any kind of grilling, it's worth your time to check this out and buy one of them. So, something that just struck my mind. And again, it's kind of an encouragement to people out there listening who might want to start a business. Wheels on a suitcase. For years, we dragged our suitcases around. I dragged golf clubs and a suitcase, and my arms, I thought, were going to fall off. Who knew? Why didn't someone think of wheels on a suitcase? That's so
I don't
weird.
know. I mean, and they probably thought it was stupid at the time.
Maybe. So there are ideas out there. I know you've been at this for quite a while, but at that time, there wasn't this idea, and you got creative and inventive. And you also thought about yourself, your own life, and what you would have enjoyed. And that's always a good source of ideas. Gee, wouldn't this be cool? Then you grew this company. I do like the fact that you were very passionate about promoting this product. And I think I talk with a lot of companies, a lot of clients, if they have a small business and I ask, who does the selling? Well, we don't have a salesperson. Well, then do you do the selling? And they don't want to see themselves as a salesperson, but you were passing these out, passionate about it. Trade shows, which really get a bad rap anymore, trade shows. You met Walmart at a trade show that, as you said, there was another path that if it hadn't happened, who knows where you'd be. But you've really, how hard and how exciting has it been to take this company basically international?
It's the journey. I mean, it's that first trade show. Do you know how many phone calls that I made before that trade show? Do you know how much a trade show cost? Do you know how many times we mortgaged our home? I mean, it was like today you shoot an email, you post a Facebook post. I just grilled a 3-pound meatloaf on my big green egg grill yesterday to have content on social media with my marketing team. So you can do it because you probably never in a million years thought of grilling a meatloaf. And I used my mom's favorite recipe, and my mother is 102 years old.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Happy birthday to your mother, whenever that birthday is.
But it's like I go back and it was just, dialing. I've got the old address book with phone numbers. I can remember calling Kroger, trying to talk to the buyer, doing cooking demos in parking lot, going into stores and grilling on a grill. I was on QVC. And I guess maybe the music and my love for just being that face. And Rich was, he was at the engineering mind. I could think of something. Okay, I want a wok. Stir fry's popular. I don't want a round one. I want a square one. So I cut this product out of pencil and paper and taped it together. So this is the shape of it. I mean, there's no way I could have, really designed it to be manufactured. But it was our creativity together, and our talents together, and our partnership together that got us another new product on the market. And we were the only grill topper out there. So we kind of had the attention, we had the business, and we had new products, which buyers love something new and different. And when you've got national accounts like Walmart having it on the shelf in their stores, it just kind of gives you that seal of approval that this product is great. And but it wasn't as far as how many people could do more than go in a store and shop and see if they saw it. Today, you can tell anybody, anywhere, in any language about your product. To start a business today, if you do it right, it's easier than what it was back then. To me, it is. And what that has done for our brand and just our story, our values, we have been able to share that in a big way. And I want to be the face of Oscarware. My daughter is right beside of me, and we're just very close. We wear a lot of hats in the business. I mean, I'm ordering aluminum for the presses before our meeting today. I just do a lot of things, but it's not hard. It's not hard for me to do so. It comes natural to me because I've been doing this for so long. And the memories, just the memories.
It's very helpful to hear some of the things you did early on. When you said that you tried to get a hold of Kroger, how long did it take till you got a hold of Kroger?
Well, let's say, I guess Kroger has been good to us when we were in their program, but Walmart has stayed true blue to us. Albertsons, a lot of our customers have been very true blue to us for many, many years. And we have the best quality. There's no doubt in my mind. We have been copied. China has copied a lot of our products, our quality to theirs. There's a big difference. But when we build a product, we want it to be sustainable. We think of cradle to the grave. We look at what you're going to be doing with that. What kind of food are you going to be grilling on that? What's the grill temperature? Is the porcelain coating on the steel, is that safe? Our porcelain coating is our signature porcelain coating. It's made in Leesburg, Alabama, and it is safe. And we fire that coating on that steel topper at 1,535 degrees. So it's not coming off. And it's there. It's like a large skillet with a porcelain coating on it. And if you take care of it, it's going to last you for a long time.
I can tell the way you're talking about this, the passion that you have for your product. I do want to talk about a couple things, and that is, our brand is Uncopyable. We just wrote a book called Uncopyable You, which is all about personal branding. And you had a personal brand already, country music star, and then you have a story. And that's one thing that products and services, as you said, they can be copied. In your case, they are inferior, but sometimes people will go for the buck or whatever. But you have a story, a meaningful story. You have a personal passion for this. You said you're a family business. Now you and your daughter do this. I think that really sets you apart, that story and that heart for what you do. And I know you just had to be, I don't know if aggressive is the right word, persistent. You were like a dog with a bone, it sounds like. I love the fact that you said, how many calls I made before trade shows? That's a big deal. We have worked in the trade show industry for years. And what happens is people will go to a trade show and then they blame management when they don't get visitors and don't make connections. And what you're saying is you did that on your own before the trade show even happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I didn't go to school to learn any of this. I can play instruments, I can sing, which I don't anymore. But it was just the type of person that I am. It's like if I want to do something, and I guess at the beginning of it, we needed to. We had to do something. We had a growing business with the satellite, and when it just kind of died, we had potential and opportunities. We didn't see it. It was right there in our backyard on the grill, and just prayers were answered.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows how that all came together, because it did really all come together. And at the right time, as you said, sometimes you make a product and it just isn't the right time. But I'm giving you credit for what you did, because you had to have a real backbone, a real passion. Everyone's afraid in sales. You don't want to be rejected. You don't want to talk to people that you don't know. Your mom said, don't talk to strangers. So many barriers that you have to just make yourself cross. And it sounds like you're just that type of person, and breaking into the music field probably took a lot of those same skills, I'm guessing.
I'm sure. I mean, it's just, I never knew. I always felt like I was performing, maybe. I don't know. I think about, okay, but then I've had situation, okay, where I've walked and sat down in front of the buyer and no reaction at all. He might say hi and bye. And I would just think, boy, that was not good. Nothing I did or said got his attention or her attention. So I think you have to find a way to connect with people. And I think being yourself works most of the time. And
so, and I have a question. So when you don't get a reaction like that, I suppose it depends on who that prospect is, that whether you say, okay, I guess they're not for us, or you find a way to go back and learn more about them and persuade them why this is for them. What do you feel like? Have both happened, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, I've been told, a lot of things over the years, but I think when you meet their expectation, they're going to give you a shot, and you've got to prove the product sells. Sometimes you just can't get the it. But I had a friend of mine who was in sales, and he, you meet people through, just like I'm meeting you today, that you have conversations with and you learn from them. And I had a really good friend tell me two great things that make perfect sense. When you have a bad day, just think not every day is going to be bad. And when you think about selling your product, if 50% of the people you pitch it to says no, if the first 5 people out of 10 you pitch it to say no, then the next 5 is going to say yes. And, it's just hearing their stories and things they've learned from someone else. It's true. Nobody gets everything they want. And there's still, a lot of customers, a lot of buyers that I think of where are they now? A lot of companies we used to sell to are out of business today. They've merged with someone else, or, they have not been successful in sustaining their business. Made a lot of friends. I don't really want to think that maybe he had a bad day. Maybe that buyer had something terrible happen to him that morning, and I didn't take it really personal. I just kind of had those kind of thoughts. Maybe, he could have had some terrible news right before I walked in the room. You just have to kind of not think you did anything wrong as long as you're being yourself. You agree with that?
I do agree. I mean, not everyone's going to say yes. We always talk about going for your moose, which is your ideal target, but you might get in and find out they are not your ideal target. And if you get discouraged and don't keep trying, that's when you really get into trouble. We only have a minute left. I can't believe it. I could talk to you all day. I like your creativity. With your husband, we'll give Reg part of the credit for sure. You're being tenacious. You stuck with this. When you say it calls before a trade show, and you talk about giving out product samples and all the things that you did, you went above and beyond. This doesn't just happen. Even if you have the best product in the world, which basically you do. Again, be sure to check out Oscarware Inc. You believed in your product. So when you believe in your product like that, and you think, okay, I'm helping someone. Someone doesn't know that this is possible. They're grilling on stuff's falling through the grill, and the grill's tines are getting gross and yucky, and you have to scrub them with a wire brush. You're helping make their lives better. It's in having a better grilling experience. So those are the things that stood out to me in our conversation. And I don't know if you have any final words to close this out, but I know this is so valuable for listeners and for me. You've got to be reminded that sometimes you hear no, but you just kept pushing for the bigger picture.
Definitely. And I really think you have to find a way to teach yourself that You have to believe. You have to believe in something so much. It's like a baby. You don't know what it's going to be. I've got my first grandchild. He just turned a year old a week ago, and now he's starting to walk. I don't know what the future holds for him. I want the very best in the world for him and love that baby so much. I think you just have to want it. You have to want. You have to believe. And when you want it bad enough and you believe in yourself, you don't fail. The only time you fail is when you quit. And if you don't fail a few times, if you don't make a mistake or say something wrong, or if the product isn't quite right before you pitch it, ask why if they say no. What is it? What's wrong? Is it me? Is it the product's too expensive? Is it not what you're looking for right now? Are you looking for something else? I always ask those questions. Sometimes I get the answers, sometimes I don't, but I never give up. And if anything, I'm more tenacious to make more calls or emails or whatever, to just stay in touch, to just get more conversation going between someone that I really want to believe in our company and work with us and put the products in their stores, on their marketplace, wherever. The world is a big place. It's not just here in the USA. There's, oh my gosh, how many people in this whole wide world? And
I think 7 billion around that, 7 billion.
Now with a good marketing team and with the resources that are available through social media, I mean, it's bigger. It's so much bigger than what it was 36 years ago when we were at that first trade show. The world is huge, and the market is too.
Debra, this has been a fascinating conversation. We've heard a lot of these sayings, don't give up, but you have given us a whole life story practically of what happens when you truly have those attitudes. So I appreciate you so much. I appreciate Connie for connecting us. And Debra, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Kay. It's been my pleasure. And I'm available anytime. Anytime. I love helping and inspiring other small business people. That's what we all need to do.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Uncopyable Women in Business. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. And be sure to visit the Moose Market at beuncopyable.com/store for more great uncopyable shortcuts. See you next time, and always remember to be uncopyable.